What is he even doing? This could be the worst run in history. Oh, here comes Pepe. You have probably heard something like this. Yeah, this is a good card, nice stats, but unfortunately, it's a classic number 10. Today, I'll show you why many hate this style, how bad it actually is, when to use it, and how to use it in the current meta. Today, you will learn the truth about classic number 10s. There are two main things I will address. First, the defensive runs, and second, the offensive runs. This is the formation I used, and for the offensive part of this video, I used Rodrigo de Paul, a whole player, on the other side so I can easily compare their offensive differences. For the defensive part, which comes right now, I used Musiala, a creative playmaker, for comparison. Here you can see that my classic number 10 Diego Maradona is perfectly charging back. Even if the ball is on the other side, he will run all the way back to cover. At this throw-in, he's almost exactly as far back as Musiala on the other side. His AI also isn't afraid to tackle on its own while charging back, so we can really make this quick. His defensive runs are absolutely fine and comparable to most other styles. Good for us. That leaves us with more time for the offensive runs. Without revealing too much, for me, there are three major downsides about them. After showing them, I'll demonstrate how to avoid them. When in the opponent's half but far away from the goal, at first, both players, Diego and De Paul, act pretty similar. De Paul moves a bit closer to be an option for a straight pass, and so does Maradona. However, sometimes, and this is downside number 1, the classic number 10 will decide to cover behind instead of being an offensive option, which isn't too useful. Let me show you how bad this can actually get. Imagine a quick long ball for a counterattack. So what would everybody expect here now? The best run is of course right through the center, like Messi will do, but Diego literally turns around and stays behind for a while. What is he even doing? This could be the worst run in history. Let's check Diego's offensive runs when the ball is around or in the box and he doesn't stay behind. In this situation, he will do very short and quick runs in any direction. Sometimes even 2 runs directly after each other in different directions. Before I tell you why this is a problem, let's see what our whole player on the other side does. He's always on the offside line, moving back only to get speed for another charge. This is a lot better. Also, in case you didn't notice, look what my box-to-box central midfielder Bernardo Silva was doing. Just like De Paul, he also made 1 run going right until the offside line. The current meta revolves around very quickly executed counterattacks, where these final runs from De Paul and Bernardo Silva up until the opponent's defense line are super important. Classic number 10s won't do these by themselves, and that's downside number 2 about them. What a classic number 10 does though is that most of the time he tries to stay near the ball carrier. See how he's following me? He always wants to be an option for a short pass. This isn't really bad in general, it's just that the current meta isn't about passing around and inside the box, but about finishing quickly instead, unlike in other areas of life. Before I tell you about downside number 3, see how the classic number 10 behaves in this situation. He doesn't go as far up as his teammates, but stays right before the box. This isn't actually bad because he keeps a great distance to all the opponents and is in a prime position for receiving and giving a pass, do a finesse shot, or even a knock-on finesse shot. The problem, however, is unless you play very slow, like for example some possession players do, the situation you see here rarely occurs. I'm literally standing here against the lowest AI waiting. In a real match in the current meta, attacks are very quick, so my attack would have already been over by either having lost the ball or having scored. Now about the third downside. When the ball carrier is in the center, even if Diego's run is towards the goal, he will never make a longer run into the box, but always stop before and then move along the line. He basically changes direction at the most important moment. The only time Diego will charge into the box and keep going is when you're on the outside. Unless you cross a lot and have a classic number 10 that's strong in the air, this isn't all too useful either. Now before I tell you how to avoid these downsides, let's see if anything changes if we give Diego an attacking instruction. His movement patterns didn't really change for me. He's still getting close for short passes and still doing their short sprints. One thing that did change though is that now sometimes he will play at the same height as the others. In my opinion, this is actually making him worse though, because he's now closer to the defenders but won't make the final runs anyway. In this position, the defenders will be too close to him for a quick finesse or even knock-on finesse shot. Let's talk about how you could use classic number 10s. I think they're best used in either a passing heavy possession style formation, or if you already have enough other players in your offense that go for the important runs so that you don't rely on him to do them because he will stop at the box. Now I'll show you 2 easy tricks how to deal with these downsides. One is very simple, you probably know this. If you do L1 passes with Diego, it will override his offensive limitations and you can make him charge all the way into the box like this. This even works for very long runs. The second trick is a bit harder to execute because your opponent might not let it happen. What you want to do is pass the ball to Maradona while he is running but still a bit away from the box, because then you have control near the box and can run through manually or use an L1 pass as shown before. And that is exactly why people prefer other playstyles. The problem is, these 2 things might help you, but they're situational. You can't always do them, and that is exactly why people prefer other playstyles. It's not that the classic number 10 is super bad, it's just that other playstyles fit a bit better into the meta. That's why people prefer those. I hope this video helped you. I'd love if you subscribed or dropped me a like. Feel free to comment if you have any questions, and until then guys, take it easy. Shaka!